The movie starts by introducing Martha, a widow with 2 children. Martha is shown as a successful businesswoman who owns many shops in Mexico. While talking with her older daughter, Raquel, Martha sees a kid trying to steal from her store. Martha immediately talks to the kid and asks him to give back what he took. After that, the child asks her not to call the police and Martha decides to let him go, showing kindness. When Raquel asks why she didn't call the police, Martha says she understands the kid's situation and hopes he won't steal again. Later, Martha's younger daughter, Eva, asks if she can go to a friend's house for a group project. Martha says yes, but tells Eva to come back home immediately. After Eva leaves, Raquel talks to Martha about recent kidnappings, especially of young girls, and Raquel thinks they should be more careful with Eva. But Martha says there's nothing to worry about because Eva is just doing a school project with her friends. Later, in the kitchen, Martha finds her pet fish dead. At the same time, this reminds her of when her father forced her to use weapons in the past. The scene changes to Eva, who is with her friend named Bianca. Instead of going to a group project like she said, Eva is actually with Bianca for fun because Bianca doesn't go to school like Eva. When they get there, Bianca already has clothes ready for Eva. Shortly after, when they are inside, Bianca offers Eva alcohol right away. At first, Eva is unsure but gives in after she is constantly pressured and agrees to drink. What Eva doesn't know is that the place is often visited by members of Mexican gangs. After spending a long time at the place, members of the cartel start planning to take Eva away. Meanwhile, Eva, who's already drunk, is taken to a room by one of the gang members. Realizing the danger she faced, Eva tried to escape. But she was soon stopped by the gang members, who hurt her until she loses consciousness. Back at home, Martha and Raquel get more worried as Eva doesn't come back. Raquel tries to call Eva's friends many times, but they don't know where she is. Shortly after, they get a call from a cartel member demanding money from Martha, saying the gang has Eva. The next morning, Martha was directed by the cartel to go to a restaurant. She went there nervously, waiting for the cartel members to come and take the money she prepared for ransom. Shortly after, the leader of the gang, El Chacal, arrived and sat near Martha. El Chacal, who was respected in the area, told Martha she had to do what he said if she wanted Eva back. Martha, wanting to get her daughter back quickly, gave the money to the cartel. After checking the money, El Chacal talked to his people and Eva was brought out. But even though Martha paid, the cartel didn't let Eva go. At that moment, Martha asked for help from the restaurant workers, but they didn't do anything because they were afraid of the cartel. After that, El Chacal suddenly asked for twice the amount of money for ransom. Upon hearing this, Martha said she couldn't afford that much, but El Chacal didn't change his mind. Before El Chacal left, he gave Martha 10 days if she still wanted Eva back. El Chacal also warned Martha not to involve the police. At the same time, Martha noticed that El Chacal was wearing clothes from her shop. Not long after, Martha arrived home and she didn't know what to do next. After that, she remembered seeing El Chacal wearing clothes from her shop, so she checked the security camera footage, where she found out that Bianca bought the clothes for El Chacal. But Martha didn't know Bianca well, so she was stuck in a difficult situation. At that moment, Raquel showed up and asked about Eva, where Martha explained to her that the cartel leader had asked for double the ransom money. At first, Martha thought about selling her shops to get the money, but Raquel warned that the cartel might keep asking for more money, even if they paid, and Eva would still be in danger. Martha got upset and slapped Raquel for being negative, but then she said sorry and thought about telling the police about the kidnapping, even though El Chacal said not to. On the other hand, Eva was in a room with another person who had been held captive for a month. The girl said they should give up because the cartel would keep asking for money from their families and might even sell them if they didn't have enough money. She also said they were given drugs to make them obey. The next day, Martha, who had already told the police, met 2 detectives who wanted to hear her statement. After that, Martha explained everything and feeling a bit annoyed when the detectives asked her to be patient, saying they were working on finding Eva but they had many other cases too. One detective named David tried to calm Martha down and gave her his card so she could call him if she needed help. That night, Martha spent a long time looking on social media and found Bianca's profile. She also found out where Bianca usually went. With this information, Martha secretly went to the place. The scene changes to Bianca, who who turns out to be El Chacal's girlfriend. Following El Chacal's orders, Bianca goes inside, and he gives illegal drugs to a kid to sell to people. At the same time, Martha watches what they're doing without them knowing. An hour later, the kid, following El Chacal's orders, sells the illegal drugs to a customer. But Martha suddenly stops him and takes him to her car. It turns out this kid is the same one who once stole from Martha's store named Alex. At that moment, Martha asks Alex where Eva is, but he's scared to tell because of El Chacal. Even though Alex is scared, Martha gives him food after she sees him looked hungry. After that, Martha told Alex to go, not wanting to involve him more. But when Alex got out of the car, he changed his mind and gave Martha the address where Eva was being held. The next day, Martha went with Detective David and his team to El Chacal's headquarters using the address from Alex. When they got there, they found only one girl, which meant Eva had probably been moved. Suddenly, they were attacked from outside, and there was shootout. Fortunately, in the end, the cartel members who attacked were eliminated. After that, they quickly took the girl to the hospital, and Detective David told Martha that Eva was in even more danger now. On the other hand, Eva was taken to one of El Chacal's secret hideout outside the town. At that place, Martha saw many other girls there, showing they'd been kept there for a long time. The scene changes to Martha's house, where she talks to Raquel, telling her to leave for a while because she's worried the cartel might come after her too. Not long after Raquel leaves, Martha's shop was suddenly visited by someone. Upon seeing the person, Martha immediately hugs him warmly when she realizes he's someone she knows. The person gives Martha some weapons and says she'll need them. Finally, it was revealed that Martha was actually the daughter of a mafia boss who used to control all of Mexico. At first, her father wanted Martha to take over the business, but she chose a different life and stayed away from the cartel world after her father died. Later that evening, after taking a bath, Martha made a plan to disguise herself and sneak into all of El Chacal's secret hideout. Not long after, when Martha got there, she appeared in an unusual appearance and acted like she belonged there, pretending to be one of the cartel members. After several days of disguising, Martha found out where the cartel conducted illegal transaction. With Detective David and his team's help, they caught some of El Chacal's henchmen while they were conducting illegal transactions. Also, because of Martha's information, the police took lots of illegal drugs that belonged to El Chacal. Since then, El Chacal got angrier and called all his henchmen for a meeting. At that moment, he was mad at his henchmen who were supposed to keep their operations safe. After that, he got rid of them mercilessly. Several days later, Martha talked to one of the cartel's leaders to find out where the kidnapped girls were being held. Using her convincing skills, Martha finally found out the location. The next night, Martha went straight to where the girls were and parked her car strategically behind the hideout. When she went in, she met one of El Chacal's henchmen who had followed her. After that, a fight broke out, and after a long struggle, Martha finally managed to knock the person out. After that, Martha went further into the hideout and found many girls who were being kept there. Unfortunately, Eva wasn't among them, and Martha immediately told David where they were and set off the car alarm to distract the cartel away from the back of the hideout. Not long after, David and his team of police officers arrived and quickly raided the place. At the same time, Martha led the girls to safety through a nearby road. But as Martha was about to leave, she saw one of El Chacal's henchmen, who had been knocked out before. At that moment, they both pulled out their guns until David stopped them and took the gun from El Chacal's henchman. David immediately thanked Martha for her help, but also expressed regret that Eva had not been found yet. Shortly after, El Chacal appeared extremely angry because once again his business had been disrupted. However, El Chacal now knew that the troublemaker was Martha, who had been undercover all this time. Even El Chacal also knew that Alex had colluded with Martha. So, El Chacal immediately eliminated Alex. The next day, Martha, who was at home, was suddenly contacted by El Chacal. Surprisingly, El Chacal suggested making peace with Martha and said he'd give Eva back. Martha wasn't sure at first, but she agreed, hoping Eva would come back safely. After that, Martha told David about the deal with El Chacal. Upon hearing this, David agreed to stay hidden about a mile away because El Chacal didn't want any police involved. After David left quietly, a car came and brought Eva back quickly. In the end, Eva was saved, and Martha took her straight to the hospital to get better. The next day, Martha's family came together again, and Eva was very happy to see her mom and sister again. Soon after, David came to Martha, and they both felt relieved that Eva was safe. Martha thanked David a lot for helping them. But their relief didn't last long because Eva suddenly experienced seizures from taking too many drugs. Not long after, the doctor told Martha the sad news that Eva had died. They found out that El Chacal had given Eva drugs that were meant to kill her after a day. Several weeks after Eva died, David visited Martha at her house, understanding how she felt. He told Martha to come to terms with what happened, saying she was a good and responsible mom. A few days later, Martha seemed calm as she made tea in her kitchen. What David didn't know was that Martha had already captured Bianca, who used to be with El Chacal and was a big part of her daughter's kidnapping. At that moment, Bianca tried to scare Martha by talking about El Chacal. But Martha stayed calm and said she'd make Bianca suffer. She even told Bianca to call El Chacal for help and threatened her if she didn't. Scared, Bianca eventually did what Martha said and called El Chacal, pretending she was being held by Martha. At that moment, Martha said she'd let Bianca go if El Chacal surrendered. But El Chacal didn't care about Bianca and told Martha to do whatever she wanted. The next day, Bianca was found to be released by Martha, who decided not to kill her. When Bianca met El Chacal again, she was very disappointed that he didn't care about her anymore. She asked if he was scared of Martha, which made him very angry. But Bianca managed to calm him down. After that, Bianca suffered a lot of abuse in a hidden room until both she and El Chacal were tired and fell asleep. But the next morning, they were startled by Martha's arrival sneaking into their room. At that moment, Bianca admitted she worked with El Chacal and told Martha about how he trapped Eva. She explained about the terrible things she went through with El Chacal. Upon hearing this, El Chacal immediately took Bianca hostage, but Bianca told Martha to kill her along with El Chacal. At the same time, David and his team had raided the place, and they immediately secured all of El Chacal's henchmen. Back to Martha, who was unsure about what to do until Bianca freed herself. Just as Martha was about to kill El Chacal, David stepped in, trying to calm her down. He warned Martha about the serious results of killing someone and suggested letting the police deal with El Chacal. After thinking carefully, Martha decided not to shoot. A few weeks later, Martha was seen packing up Raquel's belongings. It turns out, Raquel had chosen to go to America for her studies, which was something she'd wanted to do for a long time. Not long after, news of El Chacal's escape from prison spread through television broadcasts, leaving Raquel and Martha shocked. Despite the situation, Martha told Raquel to go ahead with her plan to move to America and assured her that she'd be fine. The next morning, while Martha was making breakfast in the kitchen, she was surprised to find El Chacal in her house. At that moment, Martha remained calm and even offered him food. Upon seeing this, El Chacal, impressed by Martha's bravery, but he had come there clearly to eliminate her. Before that, El Chacal asked who exactly Martha was, and she explained that she was the daughter of the former mafia boss who ruled all of Mexico. This information shocked El Chacal, and he decided to leave Martha's house immediately. However, Martha wouldn't let him go easily, and a chase ensued. After a long chase, Martha finally trapped El Chacal. Pretending to hesitate, Martha let El Chacal take her gun before quickly taking control of the situation. As a result, El Chacal ended up getting killed with the gun, making it seem like Martha only acted to defend herself. After the incident, David was seen approaching Martha, where David actually knew what had happened. It was also revealed that all this time David had feelings for Martha, so David asked Martha to marry him, suggesting that Martha wouldn't have to remain a widow. And with that, the story comes to an end. Moral lesson from the story: always remember to double-check your pet fish's health, because you never know when their fate will remind you of your past weapon-wielding days.